early morning flight to be sure the beaches are clear and safe for the day's firing, and it shows an overall picture of the fine rifle ranges at Camp Perry. Williams Gun Sight Company near Davison, Michigan. These matches are sponsored annually by the National Rifle Association, and there are many types of competition held here during the 3 weeks. The small bore or the .22 caliber matches, the pistol and revolver matches, and the big rifle matches, commonly called the big bore matches. There's the junior, the ladies, the police matches, the individual matches, and matches for the armed forces. The ones that we're particularly interested in will be the 1,000-yard, Wimbledon Cup, and the President's Trophy. And we have with us here today Larry Wreckel of Saginaw, Michigan, one of the winners of the Wimbledon Cup match. Larry, how are you shooting?
I'm shooting pretty sharp this summer, Dale, about as sharp as last year.
You're down here just to check out some of your equipment and check over your sights and some of your ammunition for this year's match. Is that right?
That's right. Did a good sight reading on them. Check out some ammunition.
Well, Larry, let's just talk about the rifle you're using. That's a 1,000-yard rifle. What's the caliber and the weight?
This caliber of this rifle is 6.5, and it is built on a 300 Magnum case. The weight of this rifle is 15 pounds.
15 pounds. That's about twice as heavy as we like to carry around the deer woods. Many of the shooters hand load their own ammunition that are in the target shooting and match shooting field, don't they?
That's right, Dale.
Probably one of the big reasons is that you can tailor the ammunition for your particular rifle and get a little more accuracy than you can out of the general factory commercial ammunition.
That is the biggest reason we load.
Then I imagine another big reason would be the economy angle. Factory ammunition or commercial runs about 25 to 35 cents a shot. You can hand load for about 6 to 7 cents, isn't that right?
Yes.
Well, you can do a lot more shooting for the same amount of money.
A lot more practice in that way.
Let's go in the shop and see you do a little of this hand loading.
Fine.
Hand loading of ammunition has been popular for many years. It is just this simple. You full-length resize this case and at the same time remove the old primer. Then we insert a fresh one. Then we take the shell from the case, or from the press, and we carefully weigh our powder. We weigh the powder in this scale within 1/10 of a grain. That means 1/10 of 7,000. There being 7,000 grains in a pound. That's getting down pretty fine. The fourth and final step in loading is to carefully seat the bullet. This is a Match King bullet and a boat tail, and if properly seated, the ammunition can't help but be perfect for match shooting. And hand loading is just that simple. And now, Larry, let's compare this cartridge that you're shooting in the 1,000-yard national match with some of our real popular deer hunting cartridges. This is your 6.5 Special Magnum. This is our very popular 30-06 hunting cartridge. This is the very popular 308. The Army calls it the T-14 as their military cartridge. And the very popular 300 Savage, and the popular old 30-30. And now, Larry, let's step over to the counter and look at some of the rifles that will be used in big game hunting and down at Camp Perry just as a comparison. We've noticed the rifles were predominantly bolt action up till now. This is the 30 caliber M1 Garand rifle, and is typical of the auto-loading rifles that we'll see at the national matches. The armed service use them a great deal in their matches. These are typical of the .22 or the small bore match rifle, the Remington 40X, 22 caliber. This is the Winchester 52. It has the adjustable micrometer sights. Then we'd get into the hunting rifles. Notice how small, slim, by comparison, trim and light. Their sights are a little neater, their scopes are a little less power. From all corners of the country, shooters gather to go to Camp Perry, to our national matches. Let's go to Camp Perry and see what's going on. We arrived at Camp Perry on August the 20th. Nearly 3,000 soldiers, sailors, Marines, and airmen have completed the mammoth task of transforming this Ohio National Guard post on the shore of Lake Erie into a beehive of activity necessary to support the 1965 National Rifle and Pistol matches that begin here on the 30th of July. This year, the cooks, the bakers, the truck drivers, the engineers, military policemen, and other men of myriad specialties have been assigned to fill jobs in statistics, finance, medical, and the multitude of occupations required to keep the matches running smoothly.
The National Rifle Association of America is an organization of more than 700,000 members and more than 12,000 clubs. We stand in the forefront of millions of those people in America who like to shoot holes in paper targets, and who like to hunt. We believe that the right to keep and bear arms is a salient part of the American tradition. Among the many groups who are working in these and related activities, one quickly comes to mind, the remarkable Williams family of Michigan. They hold a school each year where they teach 800 youngsters marksmanship, conservation, and safety, the elements of good citizenship anywhere.
We have with us today Alva Baird of Lapeer, Michigan. She has just completed the Leech match. It calls for 1,000 yards and iron sights. And I believe she is coming off of the range with a perfect score of 100. Is that right, Alva?
It sure is.
How does it feel?
Just wonderful.
You shot a perfect score in this
I did.
match. 1,000
Uh-huh.
yard, and it's Bob's 300 Magnum bull gun, right?
Right.
How many V's did you have in that?
13, Dale.
Well, congratulations.
Oh,
Congratulations.
it's a real thrill. It really is.
Thank you. This is the Wimbledon Trophy, and it has been in annual competition since 1876. It's a very interesting match here at Camp Perry. It's awarded for the 1,000-yard, 20-shot from the prone position, any sight. We'll see the shoot-off in the Wimbledon Cup this afternoon. We have with us Jack Bowersock, and I believe that, let's take a look at the inside of the trophy. Can we hold those pegs up so that we can see them? I don't know exactly what the peg meant in this trophy, but a peg, I think, is a medium or a measure of liquid. And if it's that amount that you had to drink after winning the cup, I'd look into it, because it looks like quite a lot. I want to thank you, Jack Bowersock, for your help in displaying and showing this very fine trophy. And now let's go back to the range and see the shoot-off for the Wimbledon Cup. At Camp Perry, the show must go on, rain or shine, and it is raining here at Camp Perry this afternoon. We are down on one of the practice ranges watching a lady shooter, Barbara Hyle. Barbara is testing out some of the work that was done on her equipment this morning. Wanted to check it out a little further. Barbara shoots on the All-Army team. She is the first lady shooter to win this distinction. She has won the Lady Service Rifle Championship 4 years and holds the woman's record here at Camp Perry for the woman's overall aggregate. She was the first woman shooter to qualify for the finals at in the Wimbledon Cup. We are proud of Barbara Heil. She is one of our neighbors. Her home is Lapeer. now let's just talk with Barbara and see how she is shooting. Barbara, how are you doing?
Well, I've been having a little trouble. That's why I'm over here at this range, but I'm sure it'll...
You certainly have done a lot of sharp shooting in the last few years. We're very proud of you.
Thank you.
Wish you every luck in the match this year.
Thank you, sir.
Nice talking with you, Barbara. Good luck. We're back at the rifle butts during the noon luncheon break. The old adage here is true. An army travels on its stomach. The military personnel that we see is part of the 1st Battalion, 61st Infantry Provisional. They're from Fort Carson, Colorado. This is an all-day job. These men manning the targets and handling the firing line on the range start their work at 7 o'clock in the morning. They have 1 hour break at noon, and they work until about 5 in the afternoon. This is the Army target we use for 300-yard match shooting. It has a 10-inch bullseye or 5-ring with a 3-inch center V-ring. Ties are usually settled by the number of shots that are inside of the V-ring. Okay, fellas, you can take it away. Now we see the manner in which they put the target up into place for the competitors to shoot at. You notice they slip it up into those notches and lock it into place. Then it has the tie strings, which have to be tied down. Now let's watch these fellas manipulate the targets.
Target up. Target down.
This is the red flag, or the Baker, as it is called in the armed service, and is usually hoisted whenever firing is done at the range. These matches are all run in a very orderly system. You notice the assembly line in the background. That's where the shooters are in waiting. As you move up, you see the ready line. The ready line is going up to the firing line now. And on the firing line, as one group leaves the range, another come to take their place.
Is the line ready? The line is ready. Ready on the right, ready on the left, ready on the firing line.
There are 104 separate matches fired here at Camp Perry. This is match 82, the Coast Guard trophy match, fired at 200 yards, rapid fire with the service rifle. Sure sounds like a lot of popcorn popping, doesn't it? This is the same relay. It's firing its second clip of 10 shots.
Ready on the left, ready on the firing line.
Isn't it interesting to see some of the expressions on their faces? Said, rain or shine, the show must go on. We are watching some of the 2,200 shooters competing in the Wimbledon Cup match. This match has a very interesting history. In 1875, a team of American riflemen went to Europe to stage a return match with the Irish team they had defeated at Creedmoor, New York. During the previous year, the match was held on the Dolly Mount Range near Dublin on June the 29th, and it resulted in a very decisive victory for the Americans, the final score being 968 to 929. The match was between teams of 6 men each, with each shooter firing 15 shots at each range of 800, 900, and 1,000 yards. This was the last time the American shooters competed in an important event in which cast iron targets with square bullseyes were used. After that match, the Americans made a goodwill tour of the British Isles, where they attended the matches put on by the British at Wimbledon. They accepted in the names of the shooters of America a Silver Challenge Cup presented by Princess Louise on behalf of the riflemen of Great Britain. This trophy was shot for at Wimbledon by members of the American team. The distance, 1,000 yards, 30 shots, no sighting in shots, the weapon, any rifle within the rules, and the position, any without artificial rest. An American shooter won that match. When the trophy reached America, it was decided to hold it for annual competition in long range match open to all rifles, any sight. The shoot-off is as follows. All competitors fire 2 shots and 10 shots for records. The competitors then leave the firing line. The 10 high from each division immediately are resquadded for a shot-by-shot elimination. The competitors are permitted 3 minutes for 2 sighting shots from the new position. Upon the command from the range officer, the competitors fire 1 shot for record within 2-minute time limit. The competitors with shots of the lowest value leave the firing line. The shot-by-shot procedure will be followed until the winner of each division has been determined. Awards are the winner of the Wimbledon Cup, a trophy miniature from the NRA in silver. The high service rifle, the FAR trophy, a trophy plaque. The shooter winning receives a gold-plated medal. The remaining competitors are divided off into divisions. Over on Station 80, we see Captain Lone Winger of the U.S. Army team. He was the 1964 gold medal winner in the Olympics for the United States.
Gold medal, and a special President's Match metallic brassard. Mr. Harlan B. Carter, the NRA President, will present the award. The man that won with a score of 150 with 17 Vs, the winner of the high service rifle and the President's Match, is Private First Class Louis F. Belling, United States Army. Would you come to the platform, sir?
Feeling runs high here among the shooters. concerning anti-gun legislation. Most of these shooters feel that it's people that kill people, not necessarily the gun. Marvin Driver does a good job of summing it up.
Absolutely not. We don't need any more legislation against firearms. After having been an officer in the state of Michigan for 38 years, I know of no instance where firearms legislation, such as we have in Michigan, restricting the ownership of handguns, has ever accomplished its purpose. I know of no instance where that law has ever prevented a crime, prevented a criminal from getting a gun, or solved a crime after it's been committed.
Well, only the law-abiding citizens want to pay attention to it.
That's
The criminal won't
absolutely true.
sign up.
The only people that it's going to hurt or affect in any way will be the law-abiding citizens.
And 20 million sportsmen have no right to be curtailed in this way.
It'll never stop a criminal from getting a gun. He can go out and make a gun in 30 minutes if he wants to use it.
Certainly.